So we come to the last chapter of this monumental book on meditation. I am gloating in self pride and happiness for having written all those things that you have read so far. I always wanted to write these things, but I never was ready earlier on. But this time I was set and all on fire to express all that I knew on meditation in the form of this book. This chapter is the crown jewel of this book. By learning the techniques and information I'll be providing here, you will be able to actually put all the things that you have learned into practice. What I did up till now was to teach you meditation as if you were an advanced student of meditation. Maybe you are, but most likely you are a beginner or somebody who started but got fed up on the way because he or she couldn't make any progress. What I taught you so far is what advanced meditators do right away when they sit down and close their eyes. However, to reach that stage and even to maintain it, if you have reached it, you have to have a strong foundation of meditation itself. This is what this chapter is all about. Reading this book, many of you might be fooled to think that meditation is easy. In no way it is so. It's like building a house. You need to have a foundation, pillars, walls, beams, rods, concrete, ceiling, and so on. The Nepalese temple all have one thing in common. They are mostly of pagoda shape, and on the top there is a pinnacle that we term as gajur. This topmost part of the temple is placed when the building process is complete. Then without this gajur, the temple isn't complete. It is tempting to start with the gajur at first. In this way, it would be a fait accompli right at the beginning. However, it doesn't make any sense, does it, not to have the structure to hold the most important part of the temple, which is the base, the walls, the ceilings, and so on. So this temple gajur, I'm comparing it to this last chapter of this book. You have learned what to do when you sit down and close your eyes. I taught you how to imagine, and that it was a very thin line between imagination and the actual soul work. However, to be able to achieve the state of doing actual spiritual work, you must cover other grounds or components. In the current or traditional language of meditation, what I have taught you is the samadhi state, or at least the imagination of it. If you are familiar with meditation books or yoga books, then you would have heard the name of Patanjali. In this final chapter, I have to bring this great personality. Let's not go into the debate whether this is a real person or a mythical person, or it is a group of anonymous writers. Instead, let's assume that it is a person. So Patanjali wrote about the 8 limbs of yoga. It is such a logical, step-by-step process to attain enlightenment that sometimes I'm baffled. Nowadays, because there are so many meditation techniques and gurus, people tend to brush Patanjali off as just one another technique. However, it is the grandfather or the great great grandfather of all meditation techniques. The model of Patanjali has helped hundreds of thousands of meditators attain enlightenment. Among them, I am one. Then you might ask why I did not bring this great yogi amidst our discussions earlier. Well, this is because in today's world, people have no patience and they want to get the fruit directly. If you tell them that it's a long process and if you describe all the background first, then you lose 95% of the potential meditators. And so I had to start with the final step in Patanjali's eightfold mysticism, which is samadhi. You can also begin looking at the diagram. Many people think that samadhi is a state of unconsciousness. No, it's nothing like that. It's a state where you are identifying with your soul and you are free from your body and mind consciousness. Ideally, you should be able to merge into the Brahma consciousness or the Metta soul, but then that's not necessary to call that ability or stage samadhi. So you learned all of that. As you can see in the diagram, the soul work corresponds with the eighth step of Patanjali, that is samadhi. It is the apex or the final stage in my own model of the six components of meditation that consist of two triangles. Mind you, I have omitted the two steps of Patanjali, as you can see them outside the box. And so my new model for meditation is a six component of unified meditation. You can say that I am re-engineering Patanjali's eight limbs of yoga to suit the temperament of the modern day yogis and meditators. Will my six component of meditation eventually replace Patanjali's eightfold mysticism? I do not know at this point. However, I'm sure that those who are not already attached to any form of meditation, and especially not that of Patanjali, will find my six components of much more versatile and modern than Patanjali's. Some of you might think that I am being arrogant by comparing myself to Patanjali. Maybe it is arrogance, or maybe it is inevitability that time will tell. However, with my own meditation practice and the vastness of my research, I find myself in the position whereby I have to and can challenge Patanjali's teachings. Whether my claim holds water or not, you will know by the end of this chapter. But for now, let me describe my own six component of framework versus Patanjali's eight limbs of yoga. For your ease, I will start from the last step of both my model and Patanjali's model, moving towards the first one. This is because the entire book so far was talking about that last step, so it's obvious that I have to start from there. And then I'll build my argument that all the later or earlier steps have to be followed in order to attain this last step. I'll be making the comparison between the two models. In this way, you'll be able to defend yourself in case other people challenge you on why you are following the unified meditation teachings and not Patanjali's principles. So in order to be able to do all the soul work or samadhi that I described to you in the earlier chapters, you'll be required to excel in mind work. Patanjali called it dhyana. Now what this means is that you need to be able to think and feel like a pro. Do not worry, I'll talk more about each of the components later on. Now I just want to give you a holistic picture of all the 6 components, my model, and the 8 limbs of Patanjali. So now you know that in order to attain samadhi, you must have a very sophisticated mind, which both includes your brain and ability to feel and control your feelings, which is also part of the brain's function. The 6th step is focus or dharana. What is focus? We all know. But in meditation, it means the ability to fix your mind on a thought or a feeling. So this thought could be of an object, or it could be of a thought itself, an idea, a concept. Then the feeling could be something that you are currently feeling, or a feeling that you wish you could feel. Anyways, the idea is to be able to concentrate on a particular thought or feeling for a long period of time. That is very important in order to be able to do powerful mind work. And without that immense imagination power, samadhi isn't possible. In this way, I have linked the upper triangle in my 6 component of model. As you might have noticed, all this happens inside the brain or mind. In the end, meditation happens inside of us. The more focus you have, the more dexterity your mind has, and the more expansive your soul work can become. So this trio, focus, mind work, and samadhi, is a continuous growing process. The effect sometimes is reverse, meaning that because there is so much soul work, the mind's capacity increases, and potential for one to focus also increases. It can increase to extents whereby, despite all annoyances and disturbances around one, the meditator is not affected at all, and his mind is able to operate independently without obstruction, with his soul doing all the things, going to all the places, and being everything. If you read Patanjali's work, he's not able to describe it, that is, the 3 opposite limbs of his model, in the way I have just described. And this is where he is losing the modern yogis. But I hope that with my model, you are able to get interested and find a way to become accomplished meditators. At least for now, you should feel confident because you have understood how real meditation occurs. Now let's focus with the lower triangle. The 5th step is unlinking, or in Patanjali's model, pratyahara. The idea is to separate your soul from your ego and the various senses in the mind and the body. The Bhagavad Gita talks about pratyahara as the turtle who retracts his limbs inside the shell. I'll be using another analogy, as you'll know later on, but this one is pretty accurate also. You cannot be a meditator if you cannot close your eyes, and they are always open, glued to what's around you. So that's the first step of unlinking. You could use some earplugs to block the sounds from the surrounding. That's another state of unlinking. But the real unlinking is about the thinking and feeling. At that time of meditation, you could be angry or jealous or scared. However, in the comfort of your meditation seat, you should be able to unlink yourself from those feelings, and even of positive feelings like happiness or excitement. And then you should be able to unlink yourself from the worries about the day, or your concerns about your family or your studies, or even the ideations that you are having, or the planning that you are doing, and even the reflection. It's a very important process to be able to detach oneself from oneself. In fact, many people are not able to focus because they are unable to unlink properly. Fourth step is breathing, or pranayama. In order to unlink your soul and mind from your thoughts and feelings, you need to have a control over your breathing. It is the ultimate connection we have with our existence. However, we are not aware that we are breathing, and we have no control of our breathing pattern. So in order to be able to unlink from the chaos of your thoughts and feelings, you will need to master pranayama. You will ask me, what is there to master about breathing? Every child or even a baby does it. Well, that's so important, yes, but because it's so obvious, we are not able to make the best use of breathing. Patanjali also puts lots of emphasis in breathing because it's the easiest and most important step towards enlightenment. And even if you do not reach that stage, it will give you a peace of mind. Also, I have taught breathing to people who suffer from panic attacks, PTSD, nicotine addiction. Breathing properly liberates them and enables them to control whatever disorders they are having. They have no intention to be enlightened, but they just want to be free or liberated from their own monsters. The truth is that those monsters are binding them through erratic, uncontrolled breathing. So pranayama enables them to free themselves of the chains that are tying them with that or those monsters. The third step is posture, or asana. I tell my son to keep his back straight. Sometimes he gets really angry because I always pick on him over his hunchback. Needless to say, I too had the habit of bad posture, and my niece teased me when she was young as the hunchback of Notre Dame, although she was really exaggerating, I think. Anyways, the whole idea of having a proper posture is to enable the breathing to occur properly. As we discussed earlier in the book about a topic related to posture, it helps the prana, or the bioenergy, to flow properly without obstruction in the body. Anyways, by now you realize that in order to attain samadhi, so many components, or the five others components, have got to work properly. So what I taught you earlier, Matt, might sound sexy and easy, but now you know that the other things have got to be in place too. The interesting part is each of the components of my six component of model are standalone, and you can be masters in each of them without progressing further up or lower down. We will discuss later, but Hatha Yoga are the practitioners who stuck with asana, or posture component, and they are those who fully focus on the art of breathing. I will talk more about the various meditation techniques that specialize in each of the components later on. Finally, in this section, I want to talk about the two limbs of yoga Patanjali used, but I omitted in my 6 components of The first one is niyama, or proper habits, and the second one is yama, or moral conduct. The reason I omitted them is that they are broader than meditation itself, and they are more a way of life than a way of meditation. Also, it is not necessary for everybody to agree in a particular moral conduct and a particular set of habits to be able to practice unified meditation. So I do not want to alienate people of different faiths, concepts of life than mine. I want them to be open towards practicing unified meditation, practicing whatever they have been so far. In this way, I have compared my own model with that of Patanjali, and I will be talking more in details about each of the components so that you can master each of them.